far down my own rabbit hole, I do have a little favor to ask you, Emil. I'd kind of like you to try this technique, work on it a little bit, try it on the heavy bag, try it in the air, just try it, you know, just see how it plays out for you. So we know the sort of cornerstone of IDX really as far as targets go is to attack the most sensitive targets on a person. And so, you know, you're not going to throw a punch to somebody's jaw or whatever. You're going to aim for specific, you know, targets that are sensitive on everybody, vulnerable on everybody. So eyes and throat is what I'm looking at here with this. So I'm trying to, and again, as I said, at the danger of going too far down my rabbit hole, instant action is still the cornerstone of the IDX thing, right? Immediately, right? Immediate. And so far better to do let's say less effective attack immediately, instantly, than delay in order to get maybe a better attack, utilize a better attack. But albeit somewhat influenced by my combatives training, somewhat influenced by the idea of creating a bit of a protective cover. And I guess you could look at the a Muay Thai technique or whatever, right? They have they sort of have this cover with a long guard, you know, a long attack, you know, like just so you sort of are shielding yourself and striking out. So you've got that type of thing. And so trying to marry a couple of things in there and get a simultaneous attack. So what it is essentially, let's just cut to the fucking chase instead of me babbling. It's the quick short edge of hand chop combined with the tiger claw, where you're just gonna hit both attacks out there, right? And as you can see, here's my head totally exposed, right? And then and I can't even see myself on the video as I'm doing it, so I don't really know what it looks like on your end. But as soon as I do that, I can't see anything as far as on this video. So let me like peek around. And so what you're seeing is, again, this entire protection of my face, head. And because my shoulders come up with this as well, I'm sort of, you know, again, all these angular guarding actions, I do have this quite a barrier created there with that. And so I just like you to play around with it and see if it feels comfortable to you. Feel when you hit it on the, if you hit it on the bag. And again, don't expect knockout power. It's not, you know, again, these blows aren't, the whole point of this is not that it is a power strike, right? I find myself cringing every time I sort of gravitate towards power because it's fleeting, and not everybody has the same power level. You might have way more power than I have. You know, again, that whole debate, I won't go down that whole fucking rabbit hole with that either. But with this, you've got to hit into the throat area. Even if you don't hit the throat, like it hits the chest or it hits them in the chin or whatever, whatever. You've got that secondary attack attacking a vital area, getting at the eyes, right? And you're just there like that with that, right? Just that type of thing. So, consider the singular of each of those things. So if I was to just chop, again, it does provide me with some cover always, right? But most people don't necessarily have a really great chop. And of course, you need to practice everything, to at least bring it up to some sort of useful speed. But there's that. The tiger claw, pop to the face, right? What's this hand doing? It's not really doing anything. And again, and it's okay. Remember I just said at the beginning of this, far better to do something that's a little less effective and do it instantly than delay to do something that might be a bit more effective, but it's delayed in it. So far better than I'm here like this and somebody comes and I just piston my hand into their face, right? And this is what I'm saying. I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole in this and make this something that becomes that this movement on its own, this piston action, tiger claw, becomes lesser, right? And that this is the better thing. So I don't want that to get in the way of any of these things, right? The chop for me is kind of natural because I've done it so many times. But this becomes a little bit problematic, meaning that in the IDX scope, this can't be put in there as a valid first attack. And why? Or what's my thinking on it? My thinking is anybody without any training whatsoever, anybody within 5 minutes of being shown this tiger claw, I believe, can actually do this motion. It's not a motion that needs to be trained. But 5 minutes of doing an edge of hand, although it doesn't seem very complicated, it is in a lot of ways, right? And because it requires this forming of the hand, this forming of the arm, and doing this blow. And that's not a reflexive motion unless you've really, really trained. And so IDX is about not requiring some sort of level of high level of fighting proficiency. Once that becomes sort of a requirement of success, then you doom most of the population to being unable to utilize what you are showing. This is a pretty basic human movement. Just the thrusting, the thrusting out of the eye, the reaction of trying to keep somebody away from you. The only difference now, instead of like trying to just push them away from you, you are attacking at the eyes with that. You just take it up a little bit instead of like pushing their chest or shoulders back. You attack into the eyes with it. Anybody can do it. Of course, the better, the stronger you are, the faster you are, the more proficient you are, well, just the better you will be with that. But anybody can still be effective with that. That's, again, I keep coming back to that whole common denominator where it has to be for the unfit, the untrained, essentially, right? Anyway, and maybe that's just a pie in the sky thought, but I still think it's quite possible for everybody. But this is a little more complicated, and this creates even more complexity in it. So just play with it, see if it has any validity for you, and hopefully I'm not wasting too much of your time with it. I will try to do it standing up and see if I'm still in picture frame. So I'm here. And obviously with this requires, again, a little bit of more pre-warning or pre-awareness of something happening. You could try it with hands down at your sides, and it might go from there. I'll do it head on first with hands at my sides, how I would do it. I'm going to have to take a step in, right? And that's all there is with that, right? It's just that movement, okay? So I'm here, and it's just bam. All right, here, bam. Here, guy in front, boom, and I just hit in, and the two strikes happen at the same time. All right. It requires, though, the step and the hit. You can't do it totally head on. It doesn't make sense. I can do, again, hands down, face on. I can just smash that hand forward into somebody. My feet, you can't see them, but they're not stepping or moving. There is just a twisting of my body. This hand, you can see, is just coming up as just a guard here. So you're kind of taking the same thing here, but when if you see that, I've stepped forward, there's the attack. If I just turn my body, you can see how that comes apart and it's still here. All right? But that's the most important thing is that. Head on, boom. All right? This hand's here. What is it now? Is it a web hand strike to the throat? Is it turn into an uppercut punch into the solar plexus? Who knows? Anything. But this chop and tiger's claw simultaneously requires this more level of preparation from your body. That there's someone in front of you, you've acknowledged this, you know this. Instead of being in the head-on position, you've been able to angle yourself somewhat, and your hands are here, or your hands are here. And just from here, it's just, that makes it so much easier that I've already done half of the work already by being in this position, and I just hit in. All right. So play with it a little for me and see if it makes any sense to you. And as I said, I don't want to go too deep down the rabbit hole and create a bit of a more complex animal out of it, if that's the right way of doing it. Thanks.